The film opens with Big Stan, a successful real estate agent in Los Angeles, seemingly living the dream. But beneath the surface, all is not as it seems. Stan has been quietly embezzling small sums from his clients, including Mrs. Darby, accumulating a hidden fortune. Eventually, his deceit catches up with him, and he's arrested for first-degree fraud. Found guilty, Stan faces a minimum sentence of 3 years in prison. In a frantic attempt to avoid incarceration, Stan pressures his new lawyer to find a way out, even suggesting bribing the judge. Despite their efforts, the verdict stands firm, with. Afterward, his lawyer recommends fleeing the country to Brazil, but with his assets frozen, Stan finds himself unable to leave. He is now trapped, facing an uncertain future in the coming months. During dinner with Mindy, she suggests having a child to keep her company while he's in prison. Stan brushes it off, joking they'd have to give the baby up for adoption when he gets out. His cold response creates tension, and Mindy storms off in frustration. At a bar, Stan meets a heavily tattooed man and offers him money for advice on surviving prison. The man hesitates but agrees, warning Stan that guards ignore inmate violence unless there's an escape. He also tells Stan his appearance will make him a target for attacks. The man suggests Stan get intimidating tattoos, but when Stan reveals the tattoo of his mother, it's clear it won't scare anyone off. He then advises Stan to join one of the prison gangs, usually divided by race, for protection. When Stan struggles to fit in with any gang, the man offers a last resort: gain respect by killing someone. The next morning, nursing a hangover, he hoped it was all just a bad dream. His anxiety only deepens when Mindy reminds him that prison is still looming on the horizon. To offer some comfort, Mindy tries to uplift his spirits, reminding him of his resilience and his ability to always find a way. Determined to prepare for prison, Stan throws himself into intense exercise and even gets a tattoo to make himself seem tougher. Seeking more, he joins a karate class, but his impatience soon takes over. Frustrated with the slow pace, he challenges the instructor, leading to a fight with another student and getting kicked out. Later, he meets an old man called the Master, who impresses Stan by effortlessly punching a hole through a wall. Stan's desperation to learn self-defense and toughness deepens. As his sentence nears, Stan invites the mysterious Master to stay and meet Mindy, hoping the tough training will prepare him. During dinner, Mindy tries to keep things light, but the Master's cryptic tone unsettles her, leaving both feeling panicked. The next morning, Stan is awoken by blood dripping onto his face, and the Master orders Mindy to make a bizarre smoothie from ox pancreas and horse testicles, which Stan must drink. The training is grueling and bizarre. The Master hits Stan with a flaming stick, and when Mindy tries to intervene, Stan tells her to run, insisting it's man stuff. On other days, he's hung by his skin to test his pain tolerance and forced to eat disturbing foods like scorpions in a brutal attempt to toughen him up. Meanwhile, Mindy becomes increasingly agitated by the chaos and the Master's erratic behavior, especially his constant smoking. Eventually, she demands Stan kick the Master out. In a twisted attempt to show Mindy the depth of his fear, Stan stages a break-in, locking all the doors to make it seem like someone is about to assault her. The charade unfolds, but the tension between them reaches a breaking point, pushing them both to the edge. Afterward, Mindy leaves Stan, but the Master remains unfazed, even pleased that her absence means more intense training. For 5 months, Stan endures grueling exercises without rest, pushing himself beyond his limits. By the end, he shocks the Master by defeating him in combat. His final test comes when he returns to karate, where he was once thrown out. This time, he easily overpowers the instructor, marking the completion of his transformation. Fully prepared, Stan feels ready for whatever comes next. The Master and Stan's lawyer drive him to court. Though Mindy hasn't spoken to him, she watches from her car, feeling sad. Stan enters the courthouse, and soon after, he is taken to prison. On the bus ride to prison, a fellow inmate makes an inappropriate move towards Stan, but he quickly asserts himself and puts the man in his place. Upon arrival, the prisoners are greeted by Warden Gask, who cheerfully advises them not to bother the guards, but assures them they can do as they wish with each other during intake. Stan is then assigned a cell and meets his new cellmate, Larry, who explains the prison's internal dynamics. Stan forces Larry to take the bunk where he sleeps, Later, Larry reveals that the guards run the prison like a gang, enforcing their own rules. First, he encounters a group of black men, followed by Mexican thugs, Nazis, and hardcore racists. But the true danger comes from Big Raymond, the most feared predator on the block. When Raymond is terrorizing a new inmate, Stan steps forward and confidently challenges him in front of the entire block. The fight is over in an instant, effortlessly taking Raymond down. The crowd is stunned by his precision and skill, witnessing someone stand up to the feared predator for the first time. Seizing the moment, Patterson, the leader of the Nazi group, approaches Stan, trying to recruit him. Uninterested, Stan quickly neutralizes Patterson. A full-on brawl erupts, but Stan effortlessly handles his attackers with the techniques he's mastered. The guards watch with twisted entertainment as Stan defeats them without breaking a sweat. By the end of the fight, Stan earns the respect of the entire prison, and word quickly spreads about the new inmate who's taken down the toughest figures in the yard. With his newfound combat prowess, and soon, the prisoners begin calling him Big Stan. One day, Robbie, a young inmate Stan had saved from Raymond earlier, approaches to thank him. However, Stan coldly dismisses him, claiming he fought only for himself. Later, Stan is summoned to a private meeting with Warden. The Warden reveals that he orchestrated events to ensure Stan ended up in this particular prison. The Warden has a secret plan to seize control of the prison property and turn it into a high-end estate. Knowing Stan's background as a realtor, he asks for his help in identifying any legal flaws in the documents that could jeopardize the project. In exchange for Stan's assistance, Warden offers to reduce his sentence to just 1 year, a tempting deal that could change everything for Stan. Intrigued by the offer, Stan agrees to help Warden but questions how such a bold move will work. The Warden keeps his plans secret for now. Meanwhile, the gangs plot to take Stan down. Meanwhile, Stan is showering, and Patterson sneaks up with a shiv, but Stan is always prepared. He swiftly disarms Patterson using homemade nunchaku made from soap bars and a shoelace. Though Stan's combat skills are sharp, his thoughts constantly drift to his wife, Mindy. Missing her deeply, he contacts his lawyer and learns that she hasn't filed for divorce yet, offering him a glimmer of hope. Determined, he focuses on helping Warden with the project. During the process, Stan overhears a conversation between Warden and his associates about a devious plan to incite chaos among the inmates. Their goal is to provoke violent clashes, leading to guards shooting prisoners, making the prison seem unmanageable, and forcing the Board of Governors to shut it down. Feeling guilty, Stan writes a letter to Mindy, apologizing for his selfishness and asking for her forgiveness while reminding her of his love. Meanwhile, Mindy is with the Master. Despite knowing the inmates want him dead, Stan feels a strong duty to stop the Warden's plan and protect everyone. The next day, he calls a prison-wide meeting to establish order. He starts by banning violent video games and movies, calling them a bad influence. Then he introduces a crucial rule. No physical assault will be tolerated, and anyone caught will answer to him personally. The men grumble, but Stan encourages them to explore consensual relationships instead. Though the concept is strange, they reluctantly agree to give it a try. At the next lunch break, Robbie and a group of men approach Stan's table, thanking him for implementing the no-assault rule. Stan brushes it off, claiming it's just a way to assert his control, but Robbie sees through his tough exterior, recognizing that Stan genuinely cares about their well-being. Meanwhile, Big Raymond, now in a happy relationship with his new boyfriend, enjoys a peaceful meal. A transformation thanks to Stan's intervention. Then, Stan receives a letter from his wife, Mindy, apologizing for his past mistakes and expressing a desire to meet, sparking hope for reconciliation. In the following days, whenever disputes arise among the inmates, they come to Stan to mediate. Slowly, the tension in the prison dissolves, and the inmates begin to appreciate each other's company, forming a more peaceful environment. One day, Stan is visited by Mindy, and during their emotional reunion, they make love. However, Warden learns of Stan's success in diffusing conflicts, and furious, he feels that Stan's actions are ruining his scheme to sabotage the prison. Stan is mad when he figures out that Mindy was with the Master. However, he is abruptly dragged away from his special time with Mindy and brought before Warden. He accuses him of undermining his plan and threatens that if Stan doesn't start following orders, he'll have to kill him. The next day, Stan calls his lawyer for advice, and the lawyer warns him to comply, pointing out that Warden is a powerful man who can make his life miserable. After the call, Stan tells the inmates their problems are no longer his concern, leading to chaos and fights. At lunch, Robbie asks for help, but Stan cruelly throws his plate and tells him to leave. Even Larry is disheartened, and as he walks away, Stan quietly warns him to avoid the metal fence at noon. Larry soon realizes Stan is being forced into chaos and informs the others, who begin plotting in secret. Meanwhile, Warden arranges a meeting between Stan and the parole board for early release. While taking them on a tour of the prison, Warden intends to incite violence near the fence. As the noon conflict rages, the Warden plans to demonstrate to the board that the prison is beyond control. During the meeting, Stan acts out, hoping his disruptive behavior will lead to his dismissal. His tactic succeeds, allowing him to rush out and warn the inmates to avoid the fence. Before he can reach them, Dang steps in, revealing he's been trained by the same master. The two clash in a fierce fight, with Dang initially taking the lead, but Stan outwits him and knocks him out, gaining the advantage. Just as the inmates gather in the yard and the guards prepare to shoot, the unexpected happens. Instead of violence, the inmates break into a synchronized dance to an upbeat Mexican song. The guards are unsure of how to react. Frustrated and enraged, Warden grabs a gun and begins firing wildly into the air, desperate to regain control, while the Board of Governors watches in shock. Cornered and desperate, Warden tries to kill Stan, but just in time, Mindy arrives with the master and saves him. 3 years later, Stan has finally served his time and is ready to leave prison. His fellow inmates gathered to bid him farewell. Even Patterson had a tattoo of Stan's face on his belly. As Stan walks free, he is greeted by Mindy, the master, and their 3-year-old daughter, who has been waiting for him. Together, they head home. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.